Ram likes mangoes. Mangoes are liked by Ram.
These two sentences have the same meaning, yet they are not quite the same. How do they differ?
Good morning, children. Today we will see how, in spite of conveying the same meaning, two sentences are different only because of the action or non-action of their subjects. ਬੱਚਿਓ, ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੇਖਾਂਗੇ ਕਿ ਦੋ ਅਲੱਗ-ਅਲੱਗ ਵਾਕਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਭਾਵ ਇੱਕੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਕਰਤਾ ਦਾ ਸਥਾਨ ਬਦਲਣ ਨਾਲ ਉਸ ਉੱਤੇ ਪੈ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿਰਿਆ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰਭਾਵ ਬਦਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਪਰ ਵਾਕ ਦਾ ਸਮੁੱਚਾ ਅਰਥ the lion, which is the subject, is not doing the action. Today we learned how a sentence can be written in two different ways while keeping the meaning intact. A verb is said to be in active voice when the subject is doing the action in the sentence. A verb is said to be in passive voice when the subject is not doing any action. The work is done on it by an agent. Through this, we are also able to identify in which voice a verb is. Also, we have seen when a voice needs to be used. Through the correct voice, what we want to convey is clearer to the listener. However, there are more about the voices in which we shall see in our next lesson. Enough for today. I hope you understood the concept. Thank you for paying attention. See you next time. Bye.